What if one single, tiny, almost invisible typo could save 100,000 human lives? Let's stop right there and really sit with that idea for a full minute. Imagine the weight of it. A woman, a typewriter, 4 numbers, a city that wakes up to birdsong instead of fire. But here's the hook. She had no plan, no allies, just a carbon copy and a heartbeat. In the spring of 1943, deep inside a gray stone building on Leipziger Strasse in Berlin, a 29-year-old typist named Anna Müller did exactly that. She changed 4 digits. Her brother Karl, a pilot trainer, used those 4 digits to reroute 200 bombers 300 kilometers off course. They dropped 600 tons of bombs on empty pine forest instead of a living city. The official report said navigation error. And here, where it gets dangerous, if anyone noticed the change, she'd be shot before dawn. The city never knew her name, and Anna went home, made weak tea, and never told a soul. We're going to spend the next 3 hours walking through every single breath of this story. We'll go slow. We'll repeat. We'll zoom in on the paper, the ink, the fog, the fear, the silence. But wait, what if the night guard looked up at the wrong moment? Because this isn't just a story. It's a master class in quiet courage. It's late March 1943. Berlin. The war is in its 4th brutal year. The city is exhausted. Blackout curtains seal every window like eyelids. Here's the tension. One searchlight beam too long and she's caught. Searchlights sweep the sky in slow, mechanical arcs, white fingers searching for planes that aren't there tonight. Air raid sirens are part of the nightly rhythm, like a second heartbeat. The Luftwaffe headquarters stands on Leipziger Strasse, a heavy 5-story stone block with narrow windows taped in X patterns against blast waves. A bronze eagle glares from above the main door. And now the danger deepens. Inside, every paper is Geheim, and every eye could be watching. Inside, the air is thick with the smell of hot ink, fresh carbon paper, cigarette smoke, and the bitter tang of ersatz coffee made from roasted acorns. On the 3rd floor in room 312, 6 women sit at 6 typewriters. The machines are American Underwoods, captured from French offices in 1940, now serving the Reich with grim efficiency. The clack-clack-clack of keys is constant, like hard rain on a tin roof. But listen, one wrong keystroke, and the order changes forever. Carbon paper lies in neat, crisp stacks. Red rubber stamps say Geheim. Secret. This is where bombing orders are born, live, and are sent out to kill. Our story begins on March 31st, 1943. Anna Müller arrives at exactly 0700 hours. She hangs her gray wool coat on the same hook every day, 3rd from the left. She smooths her navy skirt. Hook. What if the coat check girl noticed the bulge in her blouse later? She sits at her desk. She rolls a fresh sheet of paper into the Underwood. The paper is thin, almost translucent, the kind that tears if you breathe wrong. The ribbon is black, slightly worn in the middle from heavy use. She types fast, 40 words a minute, no mistakes. That's why she's senior typist for Oberst Werner's staff. And here's the twist: Werner signs in blue ink, and blue ink never lies. Werner is a tall, thin man with sharp cheekbones, a sharper voice, and a nervous habit of tapping his fountain pen against his teeth when he's thinking. He signs orders in blue ink, always blue, never black. At 1400 hours, the Belgrade order arrives. It comes in a plain brown folder marked Unternehmen Strafgericht, Operation Punishment. Danger hook. The folder is sealed with red wax. Break it and you're dead. The target is Belgrade, capital of occupied Yugoslavia. The city has been a persistent problem. Partisans operate from the surrounding hills. Sabotage is constant. Rails blown, convoys ambushed, telephone lines cut. The order is brutally simple. 200 Heinkels He-111 medium bombers will take off from airfields near Vienna. But wait, what if the pilots question the fuel load? They will fly 540 kilometers southeast. They will drop 600 tons of high explosive and incendiary bombs on the city center. The goal: break the will of the population. The coordinates are precise: 44 degrees 49 minutes north, 20 degrees 27 minutes east. That's the exact center of the old town, right where the Sava and Danube rivers meet. Hook, one wrong digit and the bombs fall on Allies. Takeoff is scheduled for 0430 on April 6th. Radio silence begins the moment the wheels leave the ground. No communication, no corrections, no mercy. Anna types the order in triplicate, master copy on thick white paper, 2 carbons on onion skin paper so thin you can see through it. She aligns the sheets perfectly using the metal guide on the left. Tension, the carbon paper smudges if you press too hard. She types the header, Luftwaffe 4 Einsatzbefehl 4312. She types the target box. She types the fuel tables, 1,800 liters per aircraft. Enough for 540 kilometers out, drop the load, 540 back with a 30-minute reserve for emergencies. She stamps each page, Geheim, in red ink. The stamp leaves a perfect rectangle. But here's the risk. The ink pad is shared, and someone might notice it's drier than yesterday. She files the master in the steel cabinet with the combination lock. She keeps the carbons in her tray. That's standard procedure. No one questions it, but something stops her. Her fingers hover over the keys. She stares at the coordinates. 4449 north, 2027 east. Hook. Her cousin Mila lives 800 meters from ground zero. She knows those numbers. She grew up in Graz, Austria. Her mother's sister married a Serbian engineer named Dragomir. They live 2 streets from the river in Belgrade. Anna has a photograph in her purse. Her cousin Mila, age 7, holding a rag doll, standing in front of a yellow house with green shutters. And now the fear, if she does nothing, Mila dies at dawn. The house is less than 1 kilometer from the target grid. Anna's hand trembles, just slightly. The other typists don't notice. They're busy with their own orders. The office empties at 2000 hours. The other 5 women leave in a soft chatter of good nights and plans for rationed supper. Danger Hook. The night guard counts heads. What if he notices one missing? Anna stays. She says she is filing to finish. The night guard downstairs nods. He's used to it. Anna waits 5 minutes. 10. The hallway is silent, except for the distant hum of the elevator shaft. But wait, footsteps on the stairs. She opens her tray. She takes the carbon set. The paper is cool and smooth. She folds it twice. She slips it inside her blouse. Against her skin, her heart beats so loud she's sure the guard can hear it 3 floors down. Hook, 1 tear in the paper and the plan is over. She walks home through the blackout. The streets are empty. Searchlights sweep. She counts the seconds between beams. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. She doesn't run. Running attracts attention. She walks at a normal pace. Her shoes click softly on the cobblestones. April 1st. Café Kranzler on Unter den Linden. The café is half empty. Ration cards allow 1 cube of real sugar per person, luxury. Tension, the waitress knows Anna. What if she asks about the brother in uniform? Anna and Carl sit in the back corner near the coat rack. Carl is 32. He wears a civilian coat over his flight instructor's uniform. No insignia visible. They order ersatz coffee. It tastes like burnt acorns and regret. Anna leans close. She whispers, 4730 north, 1630 east, 240 kilometers. Hook, 1 loud word and the Gestapo is listening. Carl repeats the numbers once. He memorizes. He doesn't write anything down. He leaves first. Anna finishes her coffee. She pays with 2 marks and a polite smile to the waitress. April 2nd. Anna works late again. She uses the spare typewriter in the basement storage room. It's an older machine, same model, same ribbon. Danger, the basement door creaks. What if someone hears? She practices the new coordinates on scrap paper. 47 degrees 30 minutes north, 16 degrees 30 minutes east. That's a forest training area near Wiener Neustadt, Austria. Empty. Pine trees. Snow still on the ground in April. No villages within 20 kilometers. She types slowly. She wants it perfect. Same font, same spacing, same alignment. She uses the same Geheim stamp. She ages the paper with a warm iron over a damp cloth. It removes the fresh smell. It looks used. It looks official. April 3rd. She types the final fake navigation sheet. Same header, same footer, same signature block for Oberst Werner. Hook, one mismatched letter and the forgery is exposed. Only the target box changes. Distance, 240 kilometers. Fuel load, 1,200 liters per aircraft. Enough for 240 out, drop 240 back with reserve. She checks every letter, every number. She folds it exactly like the original. She places it in an envelope. She hides it in her purse. April 4th. Carl photographs the real fuel requisition form. Form 57F, he uses a miniature Leica camera hidden in a cigarette case. Tension. The flash goes off. What if someone sees the light? He alters the carbon copy with a razor blade and glue. He changes the fuel total from 360,000 liters to 240,000 liters. He practices the operations officer's signature. It's close enough. No one will look twice. April 5th, 2300 hours. Wernuchen Airfield. The briefing room is dark, only a red bulb over the map table. Hook. One pilot wakes early and walks in. Game over. Pilots are asleep in the barracks. Carl moves quietly. He opens the briefing folders, 200 of them. He swaps the navigation sheets. He swaps the fuel forms. He closes the folders. He leaves. No one sees. No one hears. April 6th. 0300 hours. Fog rolls in from the Baltic. Thick. Visibility 800 meters. Danger. Fog hides everything, including mistakes. Ground crew wear wool caps pulled low. Engines turn over with a cough of blue smoke. The smell of aviation fuel hangs heavy. Hauptmann Becker, lead navigator, checks his watch. He opens his folder. He sees the new sheet. Target, Forest Training Area WN47. Distance, 240 kilometers. He frowns. Then shrugs. Training zones change all the time. He briefs his crew. No questions. 0430, first wave lifts off. The runway lights blink out behind them. Hook, what if one plane aborts and radios back? The planes climb into cloud. Radio silence begins. The only sound is the drone of engines. 200 aircraft, 400 propellers, 800 wings cutting through fog. 0540, fuel state yellow. Becker checks his gauges. They're burning faster than expected. Tension, fuel runs out over the Alps crash. He recalculates. Still on course for the new grid. He adjusts heading 5 degrees left. The formation follows. 0615. Bombay doors open. The forest below is a dark carpet of pine and snow. Hook, what if a farmer sees the planes and reports? 600 tons of bombs fall in a perfect pattern. Explosions ripple like flashbulbs in the mist. No flak, no city lights, no church spires, just trees. Crews look at each other. Confused, but they follow orders. They close the bays. They turn for home. 0645. Wheels down at Wernuchen. Crews file reports. Target area devoid of structures. No enemy contact. But wait, what if Werner demands a second mission? Ground crew refuel the planes. No one says much. Fog does strange things. Back at headquarters, 0900. Oberst Werner storms into room 312. His face is red. Navigation disaster, entire grupp dropped on Austria. Hook, he slams the fake sheet on Anna's desk. Does she flinch? He slams the fake navigation sheet on Anna's desk. Anna keeps typing. Her face is blank. Her fingers don't miss a key. Werner demands answers. The operations officer blames fog. The meteorologist blames compass drift. The inquiry board meets in room 204. They interview Becker. They interview the fuel officer. They interview Carl. Carl is calm. His log matches the fake form. Case closed in 48 hours. April 7th. The board files its report. Navigation error due to compass drift in dense fog. Recommend recalibration of all aircraft compasses. Tension. What if they check the typewriters? No one is punished. Mistakes happen. April 9th. Anna types a new order. Unternehmen Strafgericht deferred pending improved intelligence. She stamps it Geheim. She files it. Hook, she burns the carbon. What if the smoke is seen? She burns the original carbon in her stove that night. The paper curls and blackens. The smoke smells sharp. She opens the window. The night air is cold. Belgrade, April 6th. 06:15. Church bells ring for morning mass. Children walk to school with satchels. But here's the miracle: no sirens, no fire, women buy bread. The sky is gray but unbroken. No sirens, no fire, the city breathes. The yellow house with green shutters stands quiet. Mila, now 10, eats breakfast. She will never know how close the sky came to falling. Now let's look at the mistakes. The losing side, the Luftwaffe staff made 3 big ones. First, single-source navigation sheets. Pilots had one sheet, no cross-check with wall maps. Hook, what if one pilot brought his own map? Second, fuel logs not verified by the operations officer. The trainer Carl had full access. No second signature required. Third, rush culture. Orders were typed the night before. No daylight review, no time for second thoughts. Anna and Carl made 3 key decisions. First, micro change. Only 4 digits altered, everything else identical. Font, paper, stamp, signature, tension, 1 extra space and it's over. Second, chain of custody exploit. Carl handled fuel forms every night. He knew the routine, he knew the gaps. Third, plausible cover. Compass drift was common in fog. Official tolerance was plus or minus 5 degrees. 300 kilometers fit the lie perfectly. Let's go deep into the 14 hacks that made Anna's plan not just possible, but almost routine. These were the cracks in the Luftwaffe machine, the little procedural gaps that war created and that Anna and Carl exploited with surgical precision. Hook. 1 gap closes and they're both dead. First, the carbon copy swap. Typists like Anna were required to produce 3 copies of every order, 1 master on white paper, 2 carbons on onion skin. The third copy, the second carbon, was kept in an unlocked drawer in the typist's desk for reference. After 2000 hours, when the office was empty and only the night guard patrolled downstairs, that drawer was unguarded. No log, no sign-out sheet. Anna simply opened the drawer, removed the carbon set, and walked out. But wait, what if the drawer was locked that night? Second, the fuel fudge. The fuel requisition form, known as Form 57F, was filled out and signed by the flight trainer, in this case, Carl. The operations officer rarely, if ever, recounted the liters. A 33% reduction in total fuel, from 360,000 liters to 240,000, looked like a clerical error, not sabotage. Tension. What if the depot clerk double-counted? Third, the compass drift excuse. Luftwaffe navigation manuals allowed a tolerance of plus or minus 5 degrees in low-visibility conditions like fog. A 300-kilometer deviation equaled about 4.8 degrees off true heading, well within official spec. Fourth, the forest drop zones. The fake coordinates pointed to WN-47, a pre-mapped live-fire training area used for practice bomb drops. These zones had no civilian oversight, no local authorities to notify, and no post-mission damage assessment required. Hook. What if a forester reported the bombing? Fifth, stamp forgery. The red Geheim rubber stamps were left on the desks after 200 hours. The ink pad dried slightly overnight, giving the forged stamp a perfect aged look, no fresh, wet shine to raise suspicion. Danger. What if the ink was refilled? Sixth, the radio silence rule. Once airborne, crews were under strict orders to maintain radio silence until landing. There was no way to call base and ask, "Are we sure about this target?" No real-time correction was possible. Seventh, the night typing pool. Room 312 had 4 identical Underwood typewriters, all with the same font, same ribbon wear, and no serial numbers. There was no way to trace which machine produced which sheet. But here's the risk. What if a ribbon was changed midweek? Eighth, paper aging. Anna used a warm iron over a damp cloth to remove the crisp, fresh smell of new paper. The heat and moisture gave the sheet a slightly wrinkled, used texture, indistinguishable from a document handled all day. Ninth, signature mimicry. Oberst Werner's signature had a distinctive loop on the W. Anna practiced it 47 times on scrap paper until it matched perfectly under casual inspection. Hook. What if Werner signed with a different pen? 10th, the fuel requisition chain. The process went trainer to fuel depot to operations officer. Carl sat in the middle. He filled out the form, signed it, and passed it along. No one else touched it until the fuel was pumped. 11th, briefing folder layout. Each pilot's briefing folder had a standard order: navigation sheet on top, fuel form second, weather report third. Swapping the top two sheets took exactly 3 seconds per folder. Tension. What if a folder was already open? 12th, red bulb lighting. The briefing room used red light bulbs to preserve night vision. Under red light, slight differences in ink color or paper shade were invisible. 13th, fog forecast manipulation. Carl added a line to the weather log the night before. Dense fog expected, visibility under 1,000 meters. No one cross-checked with the meteorological office. Hook. What if the meteorologist called in sick? 14th, debrief delay. Luftwaffe procedure required crews to file written reports 4 hours after landing, giving ground staff time to refuel and prepare for the next mission. This 4-hour window gave Carl time to board a truck to Italy before anyone thought to question him. But wait, what if the truck was late? These 14 gaps, these tiny procedural oversights born of wartime haste and overconfidence, turned the entire Luftwaffe bureaucracy into a weapon that Anna and Carl could wield with nothing more than a typewriter, a pen, and 30 seconds of courage. Impact. First, Belgrade spared a firestorm. 100,000 civilians unharmed. Hook. But what if the partisans never knew who saved them? Second, Luftwaffe tightened navigation protocols, double maps mandatory from May 1943. Third, partisan morale boost. Resistance grows. Belgrade becomes a supply hub. Fourth, quiet precedent. Small sabotage inside bureaucracy proves effective. No blood, no noise, just paper. Blog. Anna Müller retired in 1962, age 48. She moved to a small house on the edge of Berlin. She planted roses. Tension. What if a neighbor recognized her from the old HQ? She never spoke of April 6th. Her personnel file. Exemplary service, no incidents. Carl died in a 1958 training crash. Official cause, engine failure. No connection ever made. In 1978, a Belgrade museum received an anonymous package. Inside, one carbon smudge. Coordinates: 47 degrees 30 minutes north, 16 degrees 30 minutes east. Faint typewriter ink. Curators understood. They placed it in a plain envelope. No label. Every April 6th, the city's main bridge lowers its lights for 1 minute at 06:15. Hook. What if someone asks why? No plaque, no name, just silence for the bombs that never fell. Anna passed in 1991. Her obituary: beloved aunt, avid gardener. The garden faced south toward a city she never visited but kept whole. The typewriter sat in the attic, dust on the keys, the letter E worn smooth from years of use. Final hook, 1 stroke, 300 kilometers. A lifetime of secret. Let's walk through it again, even slower. March 31st. Anna arrives. The lobby smells of floor wax. She climbs 3 flights. Room 312, 6 desks, 1 window. Her typewriter second from the left. The Belgrade order at 1400. Blue ink. Red stamp. Carbon paper. The photograph in her mind. Mila and the doll. The yellow house. The walk home. The folded paper against her skin. The searchlights. The counting. April 1st. Café Kranzler, 1 sugar cube, burnt acorn coffee, whispered numbers, Carl's nod, April 2nd, basement typewriter, practice sheet, warm iron, aged paper, April 3rd, final fake, perfect alignment, April 4th. Carl's camera, razor blade, glue, April 5th, briefing room, red bulb 200 folders, swap close, leave April 6th. Fog, engines, props, takeoff, climb, silence, fuel yellow, recalculate, bomb doors, pine trees, snow, turn, land, reports, headquarters, Werner's rage, Anna's blank face, inquiry, compass drift. Fog, case closed, new order, stove, smoke, Belgrade, bells, bread, yellow house, Mila, 10 years old, safe. One more time, from the very top, what if one typo,